What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we'll be continuing this series into the Tournament of Power. And as you could probably guess from the last part, things are going to get very weird. In a good way though. Kakarot was able to find a great team for the tournament, although it consisted of a lot of characters that no one would have expected. We have Pikkon, some fighters from Earth, and even Nail from Namek. But most interestingly, Whis found one at the last minute, another Saiyan named Broly. For this part, let's hit a like goal of 3,000 likes. Once we hit that, I'll continue with a new part to the series. Anyways, let's pick up from here. After Shin arrives on Beerus' planet, he and Kakarot teleport straight to Vampa. Shin's a little bit nervous, but Kakarot says it'll be okay. He knows how to talk to people and hopefully he can convince this guy to get on the team. Shin waits nearby as Kakarot goes over. Seeing a man carrying a giant dead bug, he flies over and casually greets the man. It's Broly, and he's immediately on guard. No one else is supposed to be on this planet. Kakarot doesn't seem too intimidating, but obviously this would be suspicious. Paragus hears and comes out too. And now Kakarot has a lot of explaining to do. He knows they don't know each other, but tells them they have a common goal. The universe is at risk, and he hopes that Broly can help them save it. He goes into a lot more detail, explaining who he is and what's going on, and why they should trust him. Even with all this explanation, of course the two of them would still be suspicious. Although, how else did this guy get here and know about them? He might actually be credible. But Paragus notes something. He has a tail. Is he a Saiyan too? He's dressed very weird for a Saiyan, and Kakarot goes into more detail. This puts Paragus more at ease. He thought he was just another normal Saiyan, but really Kakarot's completely different. He's only a Saiyan by blood. Kakarot doesn't really know how to entice the two, but he tells them that he can get them off this planet if they help. From what he knows, Broly's pretty strong and seems to have a lot of potential. But Paragus has one more question. If this guy knows about other Saiyans existing in the universe, does he know if one named Vegeta is still alive? Kakarot tells him that he was responsible for Vegeta's death. He was a bad guy who attacked Earth, and Kakarot helped stop it, with some help from his friend Krillin. This puts Paragus more at ease. Not only is Vegeta dead, but this guy killed him. Maybe the two can get along. Plus, he and Broly get off this hellish planet. All they need is for Broly to join the tournament. Although Broly isn't really prepared. Sure, he has fighting experience and is strong, but he's gonna need a little bit more training. No worries though, Kakarot has the perfect plan. Back on Earth, he takes Broly into the Room of Spirit and Time, along with another fighter. Nail has now arrived on Earth, with every Namekian fused within him. Since they only needed one extra fighter, they didn't need two fused Namekians, only one. Which makes Nail way stronger than he would be. He has every single Namekian fused within him at the moment. And Kakarot wants to test his power. Nail actually may be the strongest on the team now. And the best part is he can come in the Room of Spirit and Time without taking any of the food. So they won't have to worry about rationing anything. It's not like they have that much time anyways. The three enter, ready to train for a few months. As you'd probably expect, Nail is pretty strong and Kakarot's impressed, as well as with Broly's strength too. Broly doesn't have any real experience besides fighting those monsters on Vampa, but slowly and surely he begins to adapt, especially with Kakarot and Nail's training. Nail notices something interesting with Kakarot. The two try and test each other's powers out while fighting. Kakarot specifically wants to test something out. Taking Whis' teachings into mind, he calms himself, ready for Nail to attack. Nail begins attacking. In terms of strength, the two are pretty even, but Kakarot's going for something else. He dodges Nail's attacks, wanting to see if his body can react automatically. Broly watches on as well, interested to see what's happening. This isn't really out of the ordinary for them. Remember, they don't really know Kakarot too well. But Kakarot's clearly going for a higher power. He even closes his eyes as Nail fights, with Nail sort of getting an idea of what he's trying to do. Nail focuses more and powers up further, with Kakarot's body continuing to somewhat react on its own. For a brief second, it seems like his aura warps, becoming more purplish. But just as it does, Nail lands a hit right at Kakarot's face, knocking him back right into Super Saiyan Blue again. Kakarot knows he's making some progress, so he continues going for this. A few days before their training's up in the time chamber, surprisingly the door opens and someone bursts in. It's Elder Kai. He can't believe he forgot. He tells them he wants to unlock someone's potential. They wish they knew before because then they can unlock everyone's potential, but now he only has time to really do one or maybe two people. Kakarot can't believe that slipped his mind, but it doesn't matter. He tells him to unlock Nail's potential and Broly's potential. Obviously he's pursuing his own power, and he feels that Nail and Broly will benefit the most from it. And as you'd expect, they will. Broly doesn't have access to any forms yet. And after Kakarot hears about how he rages out at times, yeah, it's probably better that he doesn't try and transform into Super Saiyan or something. Him getting Ultimate would really help. As for Nail, he doesn't have any transformations at all. He's just really strong as is. Getting Ultimate will only make it more potent. So, Elder Kai unlocks their potentials, wishing that he could do the same for Kakarot, but there's no time. The three exit the Room of Spirit and Time, and immediately, Whis takes everyone towards the tournament. All the humans are ready, as is Pikkon and Paibara. They're teleported to the World of Void, ready for the tournament to begin. At the very start, Paibara begins by multiplying himself, not as a way to fight, but as a way to persevere. One of his clones gets really small, enough to hide in one of the cracks of the rocks nearby once it's opened. He does this with a few other clones. His main body is hidden, while the other one that's actually fighting is a distraction. Of course, in terms of strength, he's not too strong, but he'll focus on support, using spirit vision and instant transmission to avoid being attacked. Occasionally, he taps random fighters to steal some energy, gathering some as the tournament goes on. One of the first fights is Chaozu vs Universe 9, specifically the Trio of Danger. Ten is confident that he can take them all on, he just needs Chaozu's help. Chaozu begins by trying to stun Lavender, who seems to be one of the biggest problems. Ten avoids the poison, and with Lavender stunned, he's able to knock him out, leaving Ten only facing two of them. Basil isn't too hard for him to fight. His strength is pretty impressive at this point, way better than what Basil is at. Once again, Chaozu is able to support him by stunning Basil, but Bergamo quickly sees what's going on. Once Basil is knocked out, Bergamo goes right for Chaozu. Luckily, he's the last one left, so that makes it easier for Ten to defend against him. With Ultimate, he's able to handily take out Bergamo, defeating the Trio of Danger thanks to his help from Chaozu. Even though Chaozu's strength isn't that great, he was a good help. Having a fighter to support him was really good. The rest of the fighters are able to hold their own pretty well. Broly is a lot more experienced now and stronger. He didn't have much time to get used to Ultimate, so he doesn't really know his own strength, but slowly he learns. Nail has a much easier time though. He was already strong before and Ultimate only makes him that much stronger. He's definitely the strongest at this moment, at least for Universe 7. One of the interesting things that he notices is that Universe 6 has Namekians as well, and they seem to have a similar story to him. These two also fuse with their entire planet, although instead of one fighter it's two. It seems they have a lot in common, with them having a mutual respect for each other. This is one of Nail's first fights, and as you'd probably expect, he is able to win here. He doesn't particularly care about a wish, he's not going to get anything selfish, but he says that if he does, he'd prefer to revive the universes. They don't deserve erasure, neither does Universe 7. All of them are equal in his eyes. Seeing those two Namekians further proves it. They're all in the same situation. And Nail's not really the only one to share that idea. Upa and Roshi are also fighting together. This is one of Upa's first real fights, at least on this scale. He's had a lot of fights on Earth, but this is very different. But he can finally put his training to use. Roshi definitely still has some things to teach him, as does Kami and King Kai. But in terms of strength, he's far surpassed his masters by now, showing that off against some fighters from Universe 2, with a combination of skill and power. Krillin even joins in the fight trying to help them. Surprised to see how strong the newest student of the Turtle School is. As for Pikkon, he would either work with Ten and Chaozu or would go alone. He makes great use of his new super form, showing off some awesome power. A lot of the universes are taken aback. Universe 7 is pretty strong, and it's not just one fighter, it's multiple. Nail, Broly, Pikkon, and of course Kakarot, they're all really strong. And the humans shouldn't be underestimated either. Even the two weakest fighters, Chaozu and Paibara, they have a lot of great techniques up their sleeve. In all honesty, I say Team Universe 7 is better off here than it was in canon, despite how radically different it is. Speaking of Kakarot, he begins testing out something brand new. He's done Super Kaioken before, and he has Super Saiyan Blue, so why not try Blue Kaioken? This is another big difference between him and Goku. He still hasn't really tried Blue Kaioken in a fight yet, although it's great for short bursts of power here and there. He knows he could break his limits, but he's not sure how. Blue Kaioken is strong and all, but he knows there's something more, something that Whis was trying to teach him. A power that he felt when he was training with Broly and Nail. A good way to test this would be to fight Jiren, pushing his limits to the max. Also, Jiren does seem like a big threat. Kakarot aims to take him out right away. He has a much different demeanor than Goku would have. But still, his Saiyan blood is pumping and he does look forward to a great fight against Jiren. This eventually leads to Kakarot making a Spirit Bomb, which surprisingly, he's never really used before. It's great because he's finally able to test out this trump card that King Kai gave him. And what's better, he has some perfect supports for it. Everyone on this team is pretty strong, granting him a lot of energy. And as for Paibara, he's gathered some from other fighters from other universes, which makes the Spirit Bomb much more potent than it was in canon. And though Kakarot hasn't really used Blue Kaioken too much, remember, in this scenario he's focused a lot more on Kaioken, so it's likely that he'd get the hang of this a lot faster. We saw Goku was worried about using it because he might die if he did it wrong, but that's not too big of an issue here. He uses it when pushing the Spirit Bomb back. Of course he faces a lot of resistance from Jiren, but the bomb itself is a lot stronger too. Jiren is actually forced to put some more pressure in, and Kakarot's able to push it closer and closer to him. However, at the last moment, Jiren lets out a burst of power. The Spirit Bomb grazes him, but just as it does, he shouts as he pushes it back with more power. Kakarot falls into the Spirit Bomb, seemingly dying from the attack. But luckily, this actually helps him. It's more so a catalyst than anything. He's able to survive, not only doing that, but channeling all the energy of the bomb within him, using it basically as fuel, trying to resist in whatever way possible. So not only does he unlock Ultra Instinct like normal, but he actually has a better grasp on it. He almost saw it before, in the Time Chamber. This acted as a way to make him obtain it. But also the Spirit Bomb kind of fueled him in a way, making it so he's not that worn out like he was normally. Rather than this power being fleeting, he has a much better grasp on it. Without even thinking, he immediately goes for Jiren. and Jiren's actually surprised at the power increase. Kakarot was strong before, but this is something completely different. The two begin clashing as Kakarot actually gets the upper hand. He knows that Jiren is hiding more power. Jiren's a big threat and Kakarot wants to end this quickly. He does enjoy the fight though, but it's gonna have to be cut short. Kakarot ramps up his power as Jiren tries to do the same, with Kakarot dodging every attack, even countering some of them. Slowly, he pushes Jiren towards the edge. Jiren throws a punch as Kakarot grabs his arm, pushing it past him as he gets behind Jiren, kicking the back of his legs. Jiren loses balance and is about to fall on its back, and before he does, Kakarot lands a powerful kick, flinging Jiren off the side. Jiren tries to maneuver his way back in the ring, but Kakarot launches a massive ki blast, pushing Jiren farther away until he falls into the void. With this, Jiren is defeated. Although there's one downside, Kakarot is basically out of commission. Even though he had a better grasp on UI and had some fuel for it, the power itself is still very taxing on his body. He gives out, and Paibara considers healing him, but he knows that he won't have enough for Kakarot. He just gives enough to make sure that he's okay. But Kakarot isn't able to use his power for the rest of the tournament. Luckily, the other fighters got this. Inevitably at some point, Kale and Cauliflower would fuse into Kefla. But there's two really big issues for them here. For one, Kaba never learned Super Saiyan. By this point he probably wouldn't know what it is after seeing Kakarot use it. But he wouldn't know how to access it at all, or even if he can. And because of that, Kale and Cauliflower most likely don't know it either. So when they fuse into Kefla, Kefla's just in her base form. She still is decently strong, but Paikon takes her on. And he's actually a pretty great match for her, even overpowering the fusion. Paibara offers to defuse them, but Paikon likes the challenge. He's able to face her alone, defeating the fusion, showing off some more of his great power. Nail fights against the Universe 11 fighters, eventually facing Topo. The humans take on Dispo, and Dispo's able to actually knock some of them out due to his speed. But once Paikon defeats Kefla, he comes in to help. Dispo is defeated as Nail continues to face Topo. Topo never abandons his morals and goes into the God of Destruction mode, which actually helps Nail come out on top. No pun intended. Besides that, the only other big threat left is Aniraza, who tries to go for Kakarot and defeat him, seeing him as a potential threat even though he seems worn out right now. But Kakarot watches on as his friends defend him. All of Universe 7 bands together to defeat the giant monster. Kakarot summons the last of his strength and stands up as well, going into Super Saiyan. All of the remaining fighters defeat Aniraza together, showing off the true combined strength of Universe 7. And with that, they win the Tournament of Power. In terms of an MVP, there are a few candidates. Paibara did help a lot in terms of support. Paikon and Nail also got some great eliminations on their own. And obviously Kakarot did pretty well too. Although really his only big elimination was Jiren. So I feel like Nail would probably get the honor. He helped out his group a lot and got some pretty important eliminations. He has both quantity and quality to his name, meaning he gets the wish from the Super Dragon Balls. As we know, he wants to wish for the other universes to be restored. He was planning this from the start and hoped that whoever won would wish for that. And thankfully he's the one to get that wish. He looks at Super Shenron with one wish in mind: restore every universe that was erased. He's never seen a dragon quite like this. This is way more intimidating than Porunga. Everyone's pretty happy to hear this, especially Zeno and the Grand Priest. All the universes are restored and everything's returned back to normal. Although this poses a weird question, Nail said he was going to get defused by Paibara, and he does end up doing that, but Nail got the ultimate form, and once all the Namekians are diffused out of him, he's likely going to keep that. But when you think about it, does it mean that the other Namekians have ultimate as well? I don't know. Imagine a whole planet of people with the ultimate form. It would definitely boost Namek's power. I'll let you guys come up with an answer for that hypothetical question. Anyways, we head back to Earth. Broly and Paragus would likely stay there. King Kai's planet doesn't have much space, and there's no real reason for them to be on the Sacred World of Kai's or Beerus' planet. But the Earthlings welcome both of them, which is nice. They finally got off of Vampa and have a new home. And Broly's finally got a grasp on his power. Well, hopefully. We still haven't really seen his rage yet. Instead of working to perfect that, Kakarot somewhat ignored it. He saw brief flare-ups of it in the time chamber, but they've never seen Broly's true wrath. Hopefully they won't have to deal with it later on. But of course, things aren't going to be entirely peaceful. Now that we've finished the Tournament of Power, the next logical step is going into the Moro arc. This arc will be the conclusion of the series, but that deserves its own part. We can't cover that right here. So for the time being, this is where we'll end for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? And what do you think about all the developments so far? What's next for Paikon? What's next for the Namekians? How about the Earthlings, and of course Kakarot, as well as Broly? Leave all your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you like the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part of this series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon and get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.